Welcome, Slayer the Alchemist, where we discuss all things heavy metal and hard rock. On today's episode, 4 albums that have heavy-looking album covers, but the albums themselves are not heavy. In the days before the internet and streaming and all that stuff where you could check albums out before you bought them, a lot of times you just went in and you went off of the cover. And if the cover looked heavy, you might roll the dice and take a chance on it. So these are albums that the covers look really heavy, look like it's going to be heavy music. They're going to be a heavy band, and it turns out not to be. All right, this is a classic one. This is probably the heaviest out of the 4 that I picked, but Molly Hatchet, Flirting with Disaster, and I could have gone if I don't have their first album on vinyl. If I had their first album, I would have gone with that because that cover's even heavier. It's sort of the barbarian on a horse, these Frank Frazetta covers. And you look at this and it just looks, it looks like it's going to be really heavy, right? Guy with an axe and, berserker warrior guy. And it's Southern rock. It is sort of the heavier side of Southern rock. I will give it that. But I remember as a kid thinking this was going to be something really heavy, and hearing it, I think it was going to be some sort of Black Sabbath, Iron Maiden type of thing, and it turned out to be Southern rock. Okay, next, ELP, Brain Salad Surgery, right? This is a Giger, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, album cover, and very spooky, very creepy looking. You're thinking it's going to be something really dark, something really heavy. And it's a very good progressive rock album, but there really isn't a whole lot that's very heavy about it. And I think the cover is way, way darker and heavier than the album is. I'm going to go with, and I don't have these in any particular order. Next, April Wine, The Nature of the Beast. I remember getting fooled by this when I was younger, getting it in a record club, looking at the cover and thinking, here's this sort of werewolf looking guy here playing guitar. The name sounds pretty cool. The Nature of the Beast. So I was expecting this to be a pretty heavy record, and it's not. It's good classic rock, but it is nothing. It is not metal. So this was a disappointment after that cover. And the last one I have here is Meatloaf, Bat Outta Hell. I remember seeing this at visiting my grandparents. One of my uncles had this in their room and his old bedroom, and seeing this cover and being like, oh man, look at this, Bat Outta Hell, and the bat and everything, and the motorcycle and all that stuff, and thinking like, oh man, I bet you this is really heavy. And then eventually getting around to listening to it and being very disappointed that it's sort of this classic rock, Broadway rock album. As much as I love it, I like all these albums actually, but I think their covers are a little deceiving. The covers are way heavier than the albums actually are. So, all right, let me know what you thought of my picks. You got some picks yourself for album covers that look really heavy, but the music inside doesn't match. Let me know down below in the comments. Till we see you again, make sure you rock hard, ride free.